With this current AI, LLM, reasoning models, they're amazing. Understanding best practice of organization has been something predates the Gen AI. I think there's a couple challenges. The best practices is the nature is very implicit. So what is good or bad about organization is very hard. Next thing is that you need a deep reflection. Reflection is something that doesn't go well in the enterprise setting.
Hi, I'm Rachel Chalmers, and this is Generationship, the podcast at the intersection of infrastructure and artificial intelligence. We are the generation that's exploring generative AI. We are a finite group of people with a finite set of resources, and we have to share this infrastructure. We have to find fair and ethical ways to do that. The first generation ship has already set sail. It's the planet Earth, and you and I are the crew. This show is brought to you by Heavybit, the leading investor in developer-first startups. To learn more about Heavybit, visit heavybit.com. Hi, friends. Today, I am thrilled to have Soya Park on my show. Soya is co-founder of a stealth AI startup, building enterprise platforms that capture tacit knowledge from company leaders. She completed her PhD at MIT CSAIL, where she researched human-AI collaboration and methods for extracting implicit expertise from domain experts. Pretty topical stuff these days. Soya was also a postdoctoral researcher at Emory University and has worked with Microsoft and IBM Research. Her work focuses on using AI to surface the institutional knowledge that lives in leaders' heads, but rarely makes it into systems. Soya, it's so great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me. It's so excited for my first podcast.
I hope we make it a really great experience for you. We're a friendly show.
Awesome.
In your career, you've worked with tons of companies and tons of corporate leaders. How much of a company's most valuable knowledge, its institutional best practices, never makes it into any written system?
Yeah, I would say mostly almost all of it. And this is something that we keep noticing as we talk to our design partners. This is something comes up again and again, the same pain point basically. So what basically happened is that these directors and leader of the company, and they're amazing. They're like superheroes, holding this company together. Then they know how to work the company. They know how to get things done, certain tasks, what to ask the employees, but none of them really lives at the enterprise stack. And the companies we are working in, there are really a really teched up company. They're extremely tech savvy. They're really efficient in using their enterprise stack, like project management tools such as Jira, Slack, or even AI copilots and all. And as they're using this tool heavily, they what they say is this type of best practices doesn't really fit into any tools. So all this leader, what they've been telling me is which is very bummer, is that I ended up there's no way to put it, so I just put it in my brain. So yeah, they're not in the tool currently. So yeah, that's something we as Akify something we really want to solve.
So is this the VP of all of engineering knowing who to ask to solve which problems, or is this a director level program manager just trying to push a job to completion, or is it both?
So I think it's a different level as we talk to different level of engineers. Yeah, I think it's a both. As a director, they only operate in the high level. So yeah, all this high level knowledge is still valuable to learn the company, and the TPM, they are the one have a more practical knowledge how to actually get things done. So I think this best practices really exist in any different levels.
And where do they leave traces? Is it in email? Is it in Slack? Where do you extract that knowledge from?
Yeah, so we do look into enterprise Slack. Yes, project management tool often have a really good structure, what they put out, how they structure the big task. And also we deal with the software company. So GitHub and also they use some companies use Bitbucket. So all this code repository have ingredients. I would say that's not a best practice as it is. It has to be processed. That all the ingredients are living on this enterprise stack.
What is the most surprising pattern you've found that leaders didn't even know they had?
I guess the most surprising thing that I found is that I think the fact that they just don't know how great decision they're making. I think that's honestly the most surprising for me. Yeah, like when I was a PhD student at MIT, I was funded by IBM through PhD fellowship. So they let me come to work with them. I did an internship and no more semester as well. So yeah, I worked with them with a long time. They have a privilege to look into ML teams and observe how large organization launched the AI products. My job was back then as a PhD student researcher was to send what Akify is doing right now. I did it as a person. So I basically asked ML engineers, product team, or legal team to really give me, yeah, can you send me your email, Slack, or PowerPoint, or even project management board? Like they use Trello, like all these things. Can you send it to me? And I also did an interview with them. But my job is to really like what Occupy did right now is like try to really see these jewels, how they, what are the best practices going on, what are the best practices, and how it looks like. I guess it's just a massive amount of data. It's like it doesn't mean as it is. It doesn't mean anything. So it's like messy, like multiple teams and people involved in. So it's really hard to make sense of it. But it's like as at the beginning, it's just like a raw materials, but and like uncut stones. But once it's like the right touches and processes, it becomes like a really valuable thing. It's like, so my job is to connect the dots. And I guess like I was able to do this. Like people like me, it's like we know like software engineering and how the ML like workflow look like. So we are able to pick and map these processes like within the Slack messages. So what I found is like all these like this things that they make decision daily is like amazing. It's like it was like totally makes sense at the situation and all. And the thing is like they don't know they're doing great. That's like it really like surprised me. Like why don't like you're all doing all these like great things and why don't you even know about this? And I point out things like, for example, when they're building product at the beginning, they're kind of try to teach machine learning knowledge to their stakeholders, and they have amazing slides. So really try to understand and onboard their clients to their machine learning models. And I kind of pointing things like that, and to them it's like, hey, like you did this as the last project, and it looks like it's really expedited the process. And you didn't do this time, even though it's pretty similar project. Why didn't you do it? And they said it's like, like honestly, I didn't know there were some good thing to do, and I guess like I just forgot about that. I did the last time. So yeah, things like this. This is like a very missed opportunity. It's like you're amazing. You should do something you've been doing, and yeah, that's like honestly that's how it started with this company.
That's super interesting that you can like find in all of this structured and unstructured data evidence that supports like continuing some practices that otherwise people might not even know had that level of efficacy. That's very cool. So you got this huge massive data, and luckily natural language processing has come along in the meantime.
Mhm.
And effectively, it sounds like what you're building is a huge knowledge graph, a multi-dimensional space that's identifying connections between inputs like a really good deck on machine learning and outputs like the project went faster. Is that accurate?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I think like all this like massive data just need a right eyes and right lenses to look into. I guess like that's the first part to how to process initially. And the second part is like really like confirming with them. It's like we have this like proactive AI aspect, which is because company best practices change like pretty frequently because based on the technology out there or the clients or product or landscape. So yeah, I guess like I would say that there's two things like this initial processing and the continuously learning with the proactive AI. That's the two really important pieces.
Yeah, you can bubble up those identifications as emerging best practices and propagate them throughout the organization.
Mhm.
Super cool. Why did you choose to layer on top of existing tools rather than build an entirely new productivity platform?
Yeah. So this is something that I quickly learned. So yeah, so my dissertation and all is like I built this like a piece this productivity tools, and we had to do this literature review. That's a part of the process, and there was like a like old paper basically saying introducing new tools is like something that you should not to do. It's like because all this tool and suites that companies are using, that's like a part of the organization decision. So
Yeah.
if you try to introduce a new tool, it's basically like undermining those like decision processing. So basically, this is like something that very important habit for organizational habit. So yeah, like what they're basically saying is like you should always try to preserve it. And introducing new tool might be not a good idea because it's like really forcing them to change it. So yeah, you have to really living between this like already existing tools and infrastructure and try to weave them. So I guess I knew that from the beginning. And yeah, so that's like something that I tried to put it to my heart. It's like, oh, we should not build this one of these new tools, but try to really weave this existing tools.
Yeah, there's probably better ways to design a human car interface, but we're all so familiar with the existing controls that changing them would be a huge lift.
Mhm.
So it sounds like your competitive moat is this methodology for capturing all of this data, not so much the language model itself. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Mhm.
What makes inferring these implicit best practices so difficult?
Yeah, so with this like current AI, LLM, reasoning models, they're amazing. They're honestly like very amazing and how a lot it could be done. But I guess like understanding best practice of organization has been like something predates the Gen AI. The first article I saw about best practice is something. It was a Harvard Business Review article in the 90s. It come from 90s, and yeah, it's like basically the article is talking about why best practice so hard. Is once you nail this best practice, it's such an amazing thing. It's gonna help companies to scale and repeat the amazing process again and again. And that's the reason that I got into best practice. It's like I was like wondering why companies are not doing this, but why not best practice is a thing. So I think it has been something like organization researcher, they're thinking about this for a while. I've tried to really
Yeah.
bring this to the life. And I think like there's a couple challenges. The best practices is like the nature is very implicit. So what is good or bad about organization is like very hard. And this is something I said it like before is something this you need to have this like really process, I would say semantics to understand and also domain expertise. In this case, like software engineering, really to understand this process. So that's like you need some like a person with expertise. And next thing is that best practice, like you need a like deep reflection, which is reflection is a something that doesn't go well in the enterprise setting.
Well, we're all too busy. We don't have time to sort of take a step back and
Exactly.
think.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like they don't have time to. It's like okay, so we finished the one quarter, so let's think about what he did amazing like last quarter. Like they don't have time for that. They literally have a deadline after deadline. So all this like it's just very expensive, implicit. So all this nature is like yeah, it's like best practice is like something. It's like a unicorn. Once you it's impossible to get it, but once you get it, it's like amazing.
You're building AI that effectively learns manager preferences and best practices through these feedback loops, which is great when it's a virtuous circle.
Mhm.
But negative reinforcement also exists. How do you prevent your tool from just reinforcing biases?
Yes, gosh, it's an amazing question. I guess like the part of the reason there's a lot of workflow builder out there. I feel like every company, enterprise setting productivity tools, everyone has a workflow builder and automation, and that's something. The question you ask is like something that's really critical. That's I think that's why honestly the automation in the current like words is not as explored as much. Is because of that. Like not having this like a good feedback, reliable feedback loop. That's I think it's like really hard to do and some things that require for automation because company and environment change all the time. And the way we resolve this is from through my co-founder Lydia's background. She's a CS professor at Columbia University, and her background is like really how to build a reliable AI system like over time, and so users can really build a trust with AI. And so, yeah, she's like, really knows a lot about this. And like, yeah, like we are able to build a system, which is what we do is like we proactively checking with the employees and we try to have this feedback loop within the company's daily workflow. For example, like software companies, they do stand-up meetings and the manager have this dash also they have a manager have a dashboard to clearing blockers. And we see those as an amazing feedback touch point to collect this feedback. They are already in the context, try to do this work. And yeah, it was like we are able to really collect this like with this, we ask the questions like to really clarify what's going on at this point. And we were able to collect like this knowledge with zero friction. And with our deployment, we are able to, we see like a improvement in the accuracy, automation accuracy. And yeah, after a week of using this, our tool, like through our POC, like our customers said like, oh yeah, I actually trust the automation enough that I can actually use it. So after a week, they are able to generate the reliable automation.
Very cool. And you're getting recognition. Capital One, Apple, Microsoft are already interested. What is one objection? What's one pushback that you still hear from prospective enterprise buyers?
Yeah, I think like a common themes is that yeah, how much could it be better? Because rightfully they're already bombarded all about this productivity tools, and they're promised the same thing: we'll automate your process and make it more productive. So I think that's something we've been seeing when you're onboarding new clients. I guess like they have a skepticism. It's like, yeah, I don't know how much you can do this, like, because they're promised before. So I guess like the SV doing this like a couple times at this point, like we see that this is something that they have it initially, like skepticism, but as time goes by, like our product is all about the scalable and building trustful AI, and slowly introducing it by following their best decisions. So after a week, people are now see that like, oh, it's like they're very like slowly introducing it, so they're comfortable enough to follow this automation. So we know they're gonna come around after a week. Like we keep seeing the same pattern, so we're gonna come around. But initially, there's something like repeated skepticism we keep seeing.
You're doing a great job building the trust. How do you stay current? I mean, this market is so fast moving and the models are changing so rapidly. What are you reading? What are you listening to?
So I'm not a reader. Yeah, like I should read more. But yeah, I've been always saying the joke like when I was a PhD student and everything, like my job was to read. Read all the time, like papers and all. So I kind of now I want to do take a different approach when I learning something, learning new things. So since I'm San Francisco, I go to Luma events. Like I talk to people and I go to these events, demo events, and companies also they're doing like they introduce a new products and all, and people coming to that events. I learned so much by going to the events, and I guess like Lydia and I, one commonality between two of us as when we were both researcher, we love organizing these events and we enjoy giving this talk. So our jam is to going to events, sometimes even organize it. So yeah, that's how we learn.
Oh, it must be nice to be an extrovert. I'm here in my introvert cave, like reading everything I can get my hands on. But yeah, the Luma calendars are crazy. There's like 5 things on every night that look really great.
Oh yeah, so I always handpick. I cannot go all of them. I try to always do quality over quantity. So yeah, I always talk to at least like just 3 people. And once I talk to 3 people, I just like I'll get out of here.
No, if you had 12 clones, you couldn't do all of them. But that's a
Yeah.
really nice rubric. 3 good conversations and then you can go home. I like that. I could do that.
Mhm.
I'm sold on your platform, on your expertise. I'm going to make you prime minister of the solar system. For the next 5 years, you get to say how everything goes. What does the universe look like in 5 years' time?
I guess like how I start working on this project and all is like, yeah, I think everyone is already doing something great things, but there's no enough AI or employees to really tell them that something you're doing is a great thing. So what I really want to do is like this like type of like cheerleader positive reinforcement layer to each organization that really tell you it's like, hey, you did this and that's amazing. You keep doing that. So that's what I want to do is like having this like a AI cheerleader layer, I'll say, they're living and seeing what you are doing, and it's like really encouraging you, like you should keep doing those things.
I would love for us to have more institutional memory as well. Like 10 years ago, everyone was talking about Project Aristotle at Google, which demonstrated that diverse teams have fewer blind spots and are more productive than monocultural teams. Apparently, in the current political climate, we've just conveniently forgotten all of that. I would love for people to like be constantly reminded that is actually demonstrably correct and economically reasonable, and denying it, it's only a matter of time before we have to relearn all of those lessons.
Yeah, I love that. It's like that's something that I think even yesterday we talked to design partners like using their words. It's like yeah, like as you being in the organization, you even forgot what is a good or bad. It's like something like because you get used to. It's like yeah, you need just a constant reminder. Like someone has to tell you, like really point it out.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Okay, last question, best question. I know you were nervous about this one, but don't be nervous. This is our signature question. If you had a starship equipped to fly 100 years with generations of astronauts going to a very distant destination, what would you name it?
Yes, this question is I'm very nervous about it because I'm born and raised in South Korea, and I just read a cultural articles about something about it that apparently like a space thing is not a thing in Korea. Like I haven't watched a Star Trek or Star Wars until I moved here, like for grad school. So
Wow, you're so lucky. You get to watch them all.
yeah, I did that within past 5 years. So I did it like as an adult. But yeah, so spaceship is something that I haven't think about like for a long time. Like yeah, this is something that's very new to me. So, but I do come up with some keywords that we are really excited as a Akify. Something like I was keep talking about this cheerleader, like a good reinforcement, and also like a continuous learning is something that's really important to us. So continuously help you do the good things. So yeah, I tried to like brainstorm how can I use this keyword to make it more spaceship-y. Like I tried to look into their name convention and everything, and I look into ask ChatGPT about it. And one word that is like sounds like a spaceship is like I think continuum. Like it's like continual. Like it's like continuous. That's something word that I like as Akify. So try to make it as a name continuum. I think that's a spaceship name.
That's absolutely beautiful. One of my favorites. And you put more research into that question than like 90% of our guests. So no surprise that you came up with an excellent name. Can I recommend, if you're just catching up on spaceship media, The Expanse, which is a favorite of mine.
Oh, I did watch that. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That show takes some time to get into it, but I think
does.
by end of season one, I was hooked. It's like it's amazing.
Yeah, I can just see the continuum flying alongside the behemoth. It's perfect.
Another recommendation. Did you watch Andor?
Did I watch Andor? Of course. I have friends everywhere. I loved Andor.
Andor's amazing.
What a fantastic show.
Yeah, I did a reverse order. I watched Andor and went back to the old Star Wars movies. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, Andor is the pinnacle of all of the Star Wars properties. It's the absolute best written, most thoughtful thing that's come out of that franchise. So downhill from here on. But Andor, a great point of entry.
I love it. Yeah, it's like I have a lot of friends who didn't watch Star Wars before, but they got into it because of Andor. So
yeah. There's some real dreck in there, but Andor is a jewel. It absolutely is.
Mm-hmm.
Soya, what a joy to have you on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Thank you.
I hope to have you back again when you've learned even more about this brave new world.
Yeah, we'll do.
That's all we have time for today. If you're interested in being a guest or if you know someone awesome I should interview, hook up with us online. We're available where all fine social medias are sold. This show is brought to you by Heavybit, the leading investor in developer-first startups. To learn more about Heavybit, visit heavybit.com.